All right, Shalawam.
Shalawam.
This is the brothers of GMS New Orleans coming at you with another live camp. But before we get started, as always, we're going to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors
to YAHAWAH, bahasham, YAHAWASHI, bahasham.
Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. And peace and salutations to you sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. And to the very few sincere Akwat out there diligently learning in science, Shalawam.
Shalawam.
And hey, the name of today's camp is just going to be current events and prophecy, because we can clearly see that Esau Edom, the so-called white man's rulership globally, is fracturing. You had that interview with Vladimir Zelensky of Ukraine and Donald Trump yesterday, and it was like a celebrity, a Big Brother episode, because the train shouldn't be too bad. Because what was it like? Growing up, whenever you saw two political figures have a discussion with each other, it was cordial. They would dialogue, and if they had a disagreement, they were very level-headed about it. But with Donald Trump and Vladimir Zelensky, they were going back with each other like it was a WWE, match. Just showing that Esau is losing his power, and everything is just becoming a complete joke out here. Circus. A complete circus. As it says in that Isaiah 14, this is the man, which, the brother get that. But we'll start off with that Mark chapter 3, verses 24 to 25.
So Mark chapter 3, verse 24. And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand.
Keep going.
And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand.
And that's in red letters, so that's YAHAWASHI speaking. So a kingdom divided against itself cannot stand, and a house or race divided against itself cannot stand. And the race of Esau Edom, from these American Edomites to these European Edomites to these Russian Edomites, and even these kingdoms within the EU and NATO, and especially within the United States of America, are divided on damn near every level you can be divided on. And without fail, when you look at every great empire throughout human history, it started to deteriorate internally, and that left it vulnerable to be taken down externally. And even that devil, Abraham Lincoln, had a quote where he said, the only way America will ever be taken over is if we're divided against each other internally. But, that's going to happen, and you're going to be taken over externally as well, ultimately by 200 million nuclear-tipped ICBMs that are going to turn this place into the biblical lake of fire. But again, just that interview with Donald Trump and Zelensky just shows how divided these Edomites are. And then you've been having, Trump talking about throwing new tariffs on the EU, and members within the EU saying, look, we look at the U.S. as an adversary now. And, we need to find, if a brother can find that article on the WhatsApp, where somebody in the EU said, pretty much the world needs to find a new global leader, saying that the U.S., hey, they aren't cutting it anymore.
Didn't Trump say the EU was set up against America? So they're going against each other. The EU is against Trump, Trump's against the EU, and it's all biblical prophecy.
He said the EU was set up to screw over America.
Yeah. Just real quick, this is a quick for you. This is Isaiah 19, verse 2. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight every one against his brother, and every one against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom.
Straight to the point. And that's talking, you got it? That's talking about, those spiritual Egyptians as pursuant to Revelation 11, verse 8. The United States of America with these American Edomites. Because while you've got America divided with her allies abroad, America is also divided within herself, which we can clearly see from this recent presidential selection. It was damn near a 50-50 split on those that were going for legs up Harris and those that were going for Donald Trump. And you're seeing even those that voted for Donald Trump, having buyer's remorse, because he's starting to take away things that were benefiting them. So it's going to go from throwing words to eventually throwing lead at each other on the streets of America. As I said, brother shall fight against brother, neighbor against neighbor, city against city. But yeah, that article kind of.
It says, this is from Newsbreak, the Independent. It says,
The free world needs a new leader. EU foreign chief warns after explosive row between Trump and Zelensky.
Kind of keep reading.
It says hitting back at Donald Trump after his explosive Oval Office clash with Volodymyr Zelensky, EU leaders threw their weight behind the Ukrainian president on Friday evening after the shocking confrontation between the two leaders, which saw Mr. Trump claim Zelensky is not ready for peace, as well as accusing him of gambling with World War III.
Mm-hmm. Read about one more paragraph, Baba Kashab.
It says, but Kaja Kallas, the EU High Representative for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy, went one step further, suggesting that Mr. Trump is no longer fit to lead the free world.
And by the free world, they mean what? The Western world, the EU, NATO, and by extension, the so-called third world, where these Edomites, steal all their resources from. Again, a kingdom divided against itself cannot stand. And this kingdom that's being divided is those iron toes mixed with miry clay in Daniel chapter 2, which is the brother holding that. And you can start at Daniel chapter 2, verse 40, and you can read down to verse 42, Baba Kashab.
It's the book of Daniel, chapter 2, verse 40. And the fourth kingdom shall be as strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh it in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these shall it break in pieces and bruise.
Now that fourth kingdom is talking about those legs of iron, the ancient pagan Edomite Roman Empire, which, as it's about to go into with those iron toes mixed with miry clay, we're coming into the, the rebirth, the renaissance of it. When that devil was loosed out of his prison after 1,000 years, as it says in Daniel chapter 20, Revelation chapter 20.
Okay. It says, verse 41, and whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of the pot is clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided.
Straight to the point, the part of iron and part of clay, which, on the one hand, that part of iron represents NATO, which is the military aspect of this system, and that part of clay, what? The EU, the economic aspect, which what's beautiful with it, that part being the clay. When you go to Habakkuk chapter 2, what does it say? He had laded themselves with thick clay, which goes into heavy debts or pledges, which that's another issue of contention right now, that's going to lead to these Egyptians going against these Egyptians, is what? The average American out here is strapped with debt, student loan debt, housing debt, credit card, medical debt for sure, credit card debt, debt on debt on debt, like racks on racks on racks. And we've got people complaining and crying, saying, I'm working multiple jobs and got nothing to show for it. I'm making, $70,000, but I'm still working poor.
Yeah, if I could add, they even had people, a household was making $100,000 to $150,000 a year complaining. And that's become the new lower middle class. That's
Living check to check.
Yeah.
And rich getting richer and the poor getting poor. That's exactly what's happening. No matter how hard you work, you constantly, still in the bind, because it's already been rigged. The system is rigged. You got it, man.
And that's exactly what the elites want. They wanted to go to just the rich and the poor, no middle class. And the average Edomite American is waking up to that fact. Hence why they're complaining, and hence why they're eventually going to take up arms. But going back to the iron toes mixed with miry clay, it can also go into the iron being the stronger nations, like the US, France, and Germany, economically and militarily, and then the weaker nations, which are usually referred to as the pigs, Portugal, Italy, Ireland, Greece, and Spain. But as I said, they shall be divided, which as the brother Quashab just brought out, one of the heads in the EU said the world needs to look for a new leader of the free world. And that sounds like straight division to me.
It says, and whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of the pot is clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay.
Keep going.
And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken.
And again, you got the stronger aspects of the system and the weaker aspects, but it's eventually going to get to the point to where this system is just going to be completely broken into pieces. And that's ultimately going to come from what? Those nuclear missiles, which America's own European allies are going to shoot onto her, along with America's enemies during World War III. And who's a major, a factor leading into that? DJ Donald Trump. Because, with the way he's moving, we're about a month and a half into his, presidential term. And look at all the big moves he's been making and all the enemies he's been creating for America. He could very well be that cruel Lord in Isaiah chapter 19, I believe it's verse 6. And could a brother look in the WhatsApp for it might be a couple of days ago, that article going into those tariffs that Trump wants to throw onto, Canada, Mexico, China, and even the EU. But hey, Donald Trump is doing a beautiful job, fulfilling prophecy, creating these divisions, this chaos, and this hate out here, which a brother can hold for me, Daniel chapter 7, verses 19 to 20, which you got a precept on. And if any other brothers have any precepts, you got it, and then you got to push out.
Just to back up what you were saying about all these nations turning against America, this is a biblical prophecy. It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 50, verse 29. Call together the archers against Babylon. All ye that bend the bow, camp against it round about. Let none thereof escape. Recompense her according to her work, according to all that she hath done, do unto her.
And what is America known as? The hammer of the earth. And when you look at the history of America, it's nothing but going to different countries, saying we're bringing democracy and peace, but really bringing what? Subjugation and setting up puppet governments and corporations so that they can take over that nation's resources and put those people into that third world status. If brothers haven't read the book by now, you definitely got to check out that book, Confessions of an Economic Hitman. That's a guy whose job, he worked for these major corporations. I don't think it was Halliburton, but just to give you an example, corporations like Halliburton that are, those nation builders that after America destroys a country, they come in and rebuild. But his job was to go to these different leaders with resources that America wanted and give them the bag. He would say, look, we go to the leaders, we'd be like, look, we'll take care of your family, give you all the money you want, just allow these corporations and the US government to handle business. And if they didn't want to play ball that way, then they would send in people called the Jackals, which were CIA hitmen. And then if the Jackals didn't do the thing, they go to, the third option, which was called the Leviathan Force, which was speaking of the United States military, which, let's look at Iraq, for example. Saddam Hussein was an asset of America during the 80s with the Iraq-Iran war. But then what? He wanted to get away from the US petrodollar and go towards the euro, which we can't do that because the petrodollar is the backbone of America's power. So you had the Gulf War, the first Gulf War, and then the second Gulf War, which the Leviathan Force went in, and then they set up puppets. But what? Iraq is a failed state, just as Libya is a failed state, and anywhere else the US and EU go to, do their business, do their dirty work.
Yeah, the Edomites here, they say, well, look, those rulers, they rule their country. It's their fault that their country is like that. It's their fault that this country's in shambles. Not knowing that all of the countries in the world, they're head up by puppets. Esau's in control of every country, man. It doesn't matter who's in the borders. Esau's in control. And so, like the brother was saying, if you don't play ball, they just kill you.
Sir. God, if somebody could get me Revelation 13, verse 15 real quick. You got it? Khan. We're going to get that Revelation 13, verse 15, and then we got you, Kushab, and we'll get that article. But you had some more in that, Jeremiah?
It says,
but as I said, it was talking about the archers surrounding Babylon and getting ready to shoot those arrows onto her, which is talking about those nuclear missiles.
It says, recompense her according to her work, according to all that she hath done, do unto her. For she hath been proud against YAHAWAH, against the Holy One of Israel.
Khan. And that fits America to the T. What does this say in Isaiah 47 and Revelation 18? I shall never see widowhood or the loss of children. That's America's mindset, that she's just going to last forever. And, during World War II, you brothers know that famous picture of them raising the flag. Well, that was the Marine Corps that did that on Iwo Jima. And then the head of the Marine Corps at the time said, this picture is going to ensure that the Marine Corps lasts for the next 500 years. That's the pride of this devil, thinking that they're never going to go down.
That's it.
But you were done with that? You got that Revelation 13, and then we got you, Kushab.
It's the book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 15. It says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
And that image of the beast goes into the financial, political, and military aspects of this system we currently live in. The things that run it, which goes back to ancient Rome. And as it said, those that would not worship the image of the beast or Esau's system should be killed. You're made a pariah, you're labeled a terrorist, a human rights violator, a dictator that needs to be taken down. And then what? Leviathan force comes in and turns your country into a third world shithole. But you got it, Shah. You can break it down too.
It's backing up because I was holding this, the brother I brought his precept out, because eventually what Trump is doing, all of these nations are going to get together, ultimately to come against America, right? And like the brother said, it's biblical prophecy. It's Revelation 17 and 16. It says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. All right, going into the NATO and the EU. All right, ultimately coming against America, man. All right, that whore that's sitting upon many waters, dictating to the other countries what and what not to do. Well, these nations are tired of that, man. All right, which is why they're calling for a new leader of the free world. All right, but we know according to prophecy that new leader of the free world is going to be YAHAWASHI, man. All right, because once those missiles get shot off, okay, and YAHAWASHI makes his return and say he's coming back to take the crowns, man. But verse 17, it says, for the Most High had put in their hearts to fulfill his will and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of our power shall be fulfilled.
And that's what happened after World War II. Those different kings, these different European nations gave their power unto America, because Europe was cratered after World War II. And America and the Soviet Union were the two sole superpowers standing. So, America rebuilt up Europe, and, this apparatus of the NATO and the EU was set up with the US at the head. And ever since then, America's been telling Europe, jump, and Europe has been saying, how high? But it's getting to the point to where we're seeing that everything we do, at the behest of America, always puts us deeper in the hole. We feel the blowback from it. So hence why the 10 horns, the EU, which thou sawest upon the beast, NATO, these are going to hate the whore, America, and eat her flesh and burn her with fire, those nuclear missiles. But got some. You got the article too. Yep. And with the article, the brothers going to read a little bit of. And that just is another example of why these nations are hating this whore.
This is an article from CNBC, published Thursday, February 27th, 2025. It says, Trump threatens to slap 25% tariffs on EU. It says, bloc was always meant to hurt the U.S. I'm going to get into some of the key points. It reads, U.S. President Donald Trump threatened to impose 25% tariffs on imports from the European Union, claiming that the economic and political bloc was formed to screw, that's in parentheses, the U.S. At the first cabinet meeting, Trump said that duties against Canada and Mexico would take effect on April 2nd, and that his trade measures will include a 25% tariff on goods from the EU.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's it.
But as a brother just read, Trump is threatening 25% tariffs on the EU and saying, look, the EU was only made to screw over America. And even during Trump's first administration, you know, he was bullying the EU and NATO, saying, look, you got to pay your fair share. And leading up to his reselection, he was saying, if you don't pay your bills, Russia, come and take these European nations. Now you got to imagine, you're a small European country on the border with Russia. You know, some of them were a part of the Soviet Union during the Cold War. Hearing Trump say this, what would you be thinking? What am I gonna, like, clearly America doesn't have my back anymore, so I'm gonna have to start looking somewhere else for protection. But you got a Bayan and you got a Halalyam.
Just backing you up, with the boasting right now that Trump is doing pretty much. All right, with boasting and boosting America up, as you kind of mentioned about being that widow, what you mentioned in Isaiah, something about the.
Oh, I shall not be a widow, neither see the loss of children.
Come. But just back you up, this is the book of Revelation, chapter 18, and I'm gonna just try to get to the point. Revelations 18:7, it says, "How much hath glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she said in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord God who judges her." All right. "And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come." All right. But I brought that out just to, back you up again. DJ Donald Trump out here, making moves to anger and stir a lot of things up, man. And that's eventually what's going to come soon to America. All right.
Con. And as I said, in one day shall her plagues come, fire and burning and, destruction, which, it's only going to take 1 hour for America to be destroyed by those 200 million nuclear missiles. And that just goes to show the power of YAHAWAH, bahasham, YAHAWASHI. Because for the last 270 something years, America has built itself up as this economic and military powerhouse, where for the longest time, nations were afraid and never thought it would go down. But in 1 hour is the Most High going to take this place down. Just as the Most High built up ancient Egypt and took it down to show his power, he's doing the same thing with spiritual Egypt. It's going to be that much quicker of a fall, and we are at the door of it. But you got it.
It's the book of Isaiah chapter 25:7, and it reads, "And he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all the people," and it's the point, "and the veil that is spread over all nations." And pretty much, these brothers been going into it beautifully. All these other nations are starting to realize that America is just full of shit. They're full of hot air. They're not saying that, I'm not saying that America is weak, but they understanding that together they are more powerful than America, man. And ultimately we understand that the Lord has given these different nations the power to even challenge America. But
It said in that Revelation 17 I brought out, that he put it in their hearts, to which your heart is your mind.
That's right.
Mind, to fulfill his will.
That's right. It up, man.
Yeah, he's stirring it up, man. Got it.
Yeah, it's like an old boxer. When a boxer was in his prime, if he had that power and that maneuverability, people are afraid to go against him. But when that boxer gets older, he's still deadly, but he's slower, and he just don't got it like that anymore.
perfect example, what we just seen, Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. Mike Tyson, everybody in the world knows Mike Tyson. What is he known for? Destroying his opponent. You see, he looks, his countenance looks like he destroys. You see, so when that's, I'm so glad you made that comparison, because that's how America is, man. Right? He's big and bulky. Okay, he has all the equipment to take down the enemy, but he's old now. You see, but you got it.
really, you know, America is still riding off its reputation.
Right.
And that reputation is, you know, what gives fear unto people. Is the nation, you know, that made fire, the man that called fire down from heaven, you know, those atomic bombs that went to these smaller nations and just completely wrecked them.
Right.
But what? America hasn't won a war since World War II. And, you know, everything America's trying to do now is backfiring against them. And just as soon as America does something, you know, you go to social media, somebody's already exposing what the plot is.
Like that whole thing with I was talking about yesterday with ALQ, you know, the Q date, you know, LQ date, you know, with your girl exposing, you know, how they was funding the Taliban man, all right, you know, and what happened with guy Trump getting in office and showing up, create the Department of Government Efficiency, and boom, this is exposed, you know, so like brother said, you know.
Yeah, that Department of Government Efficiency has been exposing a lot of things, as the brother was going into, that the U.S. is funding these different TS groups out here, and that your hard-earned taxpayer dollars are getting sent to fund Transformer comics in Peru, and going to fund, you know, tourism in Lebanon. While you got Americans starving, you know, on the streets, you know, working 2 jobs and still living in a car and nothing to show for it.
Right.
But got that Obadiah?
Yeah. Okay. Obadiah chapter 1 and
You can start at verse 1.
Okay, verse 1. It says, the vision of Obadiah, thus said the Lord power concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle.
And you know, this whole book is dedicated to, you know, the judgment and the downfall of you Edomites. And you know, that ambassador sent among the heathen are the prophets, you know, telling you exactly what is about to take place. And what's the next part say? Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. And that's ultimately what's going to happen. It's on an economic footing right now, but eventually it's going to go on that war footing. Gerald Salente, you know, he's got a lot of, you know, classic quotes, but one of his classic quotes was currency wars turned into world wars, which, you know, that's what we're in right now, you know, economic warfare. And it's just going to get to the point to where we just can't look at each other and talk shit anymore. You know, the fists are going to have to come out. The big guns are going to have to come out. Okay.
Okay, verse 2.
And you can read verse 2 and break it down,
Okay.
and then jump down to verse 7.
Okay.
Or actually read verse 3 and then jump down to verse 7.
Read verse 3.
No, you can read verse 2 and break
Okay.
it down, but afterwards read the verse 3 and then jump to verse 7.
Okay. It said, Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 2 said, behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. So one thing about we're seeing that these nations right now, you know, is despising Babylon great, which in fact is America. These nations are constantly, you know, coming against, you know, seeing they begin to see that that skirt is being lifted. You know, you're seeing that, you know, all the evil doing, all the underhanding, all the different things, their policies and democracies and different things like that, they begin to be exposed. And these nations right now are despising them. You know, they're very angry. You know, seeing right now the Lord is gathering the nation. He said, jump down to verse 3. And it said, the pride of thy heart has deceived thee. Thou dwellest in the clefts of the rocks, whose habitation is high, that says in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? So this man is the most proud. You know, what his inward thought that he would rule forever. So right now, you know, he's thinking that right now he got what you call like a God complex. You know, he thinking that, you know, hey, no one bring me down like that. Meeting between Zelensky and Donald Trump. You know, you can tell him that, hey man, you ain't got us. You know, you gonna lose the battle. You know, you need to be buying down to us. You know, he was talking with great pride.
And that's beautiful. You brought up that interview between Trump and Zelensky, because Zelensky was telling Trump, look, it is going to come to you. This war is going to spread to you. And Trump was like, it's never going to touch us. You know, he got his arms crossed. That's never going to happen. That backs up that Obadiah, you know, that heart deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks. You're at the heights thinking, you know, who can take me down? But as we can see, you know, that shadow is encroaching upon you from every angle.
That's it.
Kind of. And then you can jump to that 7, and then to make your point. Kind of.
Nah, I forget who, it was, I think it was a reporter was asking Trump, what does he think about Russia not abiding by the steel fight, what's it called? Ceasefire. And he basically was just like, well, if they don't, you know, they don't. Basically, and he was like, what if a bomb falls on your head? And he's being comical, but at the same time, it just goes to show you how much pride this dude has, like to even make a joke like that, that where the earth is right now, the state of the earth, to make a joke like that, you gotta be full of pride, man. Gotta be.
This can never happen to me.
Yeah, like who's gonna do that? Are they that stupid to do that, basically? But you got it.
Yeah, this is a quick one to back up what you were saying about how the economic wars turn into real wars. Because if you stop a country from getting goods imported that they need, you're actually killing them, man.
That's right.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 34, verse 21. It says, the bread of the needy is their life. He that defraudeth him, therefore, is a man of blood. He that taketh away his neighbor's living slayeth him. And he that defraudeth the laborer of his hire is a bloodshedder.
If I could say, you know, those sanctions look into those sanctions that the U.S. throws on Iran. It's for medical goods. Yeah. It's for life-saving equipment to do what? Foment unrest in the country, so that the people in Iran can turn against their government. That's a soft form of war.
Yeah. If you have a road that's leading to a hospital and you cut off the road, you stop goods from getting into the hospital, you say, oh, this is just a sanction. That's what Esau does. He uses language to make it seem like he's just harmless, he's professional, everybody else is a savage, but he's this prim and proper person. No, you're killing people. When you stop goods from flowing to where they need to go, you're killing people. That's why it says, the bread of the needy is their life. He that defrauded him, therefore, is a man of blood. And who's a bloody man? Esau Edom.
The bloodiest man.
The bloodiest.
And what is this saying that Ezekiel 35? Since thou hast not hated blood, blood shall pursue thee. So all that energy you put out there is going to come right back to you like a slingshot. Hence why this is going to be the only nation on the face of the earth that's going to be wiped away and never inhabited again, and stand as a memorial as the, you know, you want to live wickedly, this is what's going to happen to you. But
yeah, I got a kind of again, pushing in that point of this whole Babylon, being as boastful
Oh, we should be back in there. Con. Yeah, Slovakia, I got it on Do Not Disturb, but I guess Do Not Disturb doesn't work. Yeah, just keep. Yeah. All right, where are we at? Oh, Con. Yeah, get demons.
But this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 47 and 1. It says, "Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, there is no throne. O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate."
And that dust goes into confusion, which when you go into Isaiah chapter 19, it says, the princes of Egypt have been made fooled. There are no more wise men there. It's like everything Esau does now gets exposed immediately. And everybody knows it's just propaganda by America. Like he just don't got the juice anymore.
A little bit more. Verse 2 says, "Take the millstones and grind meal, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen."
And that nakedness is going into what? America's true face being shown. For the longest time, everybody thought, oh, America's the good guys. They're bringing in democracy. They're overthrowing dictators that especially abuse the women. They abuse the children, all that. But really, when you look behind the scenes, you got, let's look at Gaddafi, for example. They had free college over there. They had health care. And, they had a high standard of living. They called Libya the jewel of Africa.
Yeah, he actually gave housing to people for starting families, which is the exact opposite of America. You get money from divorcing, you split up your family, let's give this whole bunch of, they pay people to destroy their families. Over there, you got money to start a family.
And then, oh, he's a dictator. Oh, he's a bad guy. Which really all he wanted to do was what? Get Libya, get Africa off of the petrodollar. And he wanted to set up something called a gold dinar, which is a gold-backed currency. Oh, he's a terrorist, he's a dictator. They bombed this country into the Stone Ages. Hillary Clinton was famous for saying, we came, we saw, and we killed him. And now look at Libya. It's a third world shithole with what? A bunch of theist groups having slave trades in that country. That's what democracy brings. That's the true American way. And that's that nakedness being shown into the nations. Hence why these nations are, looking upon thee, as it says in Obadiah, the nations have greatly despised thee, and thou art made small amongst them. That's your reputation.
That drunkenness is starting to wear off now.
The hangover.
Yeah, they start to really understand and get a clear view of like, all right, this is a whore.
They found out they had a roofie in the drink, and they're waking up like, where's my pants? Like, what's going on?
That's just like, everybody beginning to find out the playbook of America. They go in and rob, steal, and kill, sell these puppet government. And once they do that, they know what they drain them from what? Their resource, their minerals, the oil, the gold. This is the thief of the earth. This man robbed, steal, and kill. He's the harbinger of death. You got it, man.
Somebody give me that Habakkuk chapter 2. I think start at verse 3, but you had a precept? Or you had some more?
Just finishing off there again. Isaiah 47:3, "Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man."
And that's the coup de grace that's coming. YAHAWASHI, not meeting you as a man, coming as that unstoppable angelic force, as it says in Isaiah 63. Who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Basra? YAHAWASHI is coming like Independence Day. And the first half of Independence Day was realistically how it's going to play out. They couldn't stop them at all. Those chariots were just going over those major landmarks and turning them into dust. And Jeff Goldblum ain't going to get hired by Doge to come up with a computer virus to take down the chariots. It's going to end with America being laid down to the ground, going exactly where it needs to be in the dustbin of history. But
I can get this real quick. This is a quote by Desmond Tutu. It says, "When the missionaries came to Africa, they had the Bible and we had the land. They said, 'Let us pray.' We closed our eyes. When we opened them, we had the Bible and they had the land."
You got it.
Yeah, that's how the so-called white man get down. He'll show up as Red Cross. He'll show up as a missionary. He'll show up as a Christian. I'm here to spread peace, democracy, and Jesus Christ. He subdues the people and gets them to follow in whatever nonsense he's pushing, whether it's democracy, feminism. Then they get Americanized. Then they look up and like, wait a minute, these corporations, they control the resources. You got a country that's rich in oil, gold, minerals, but everybody's poor. What does that mean? The so-called white man's a devil. Point blank.
Putting his hand in your back pocket.
Yeah.
He's shaking you. He's hand shaking you in the front at the same time, reaching around the back and taking your wallet from you.
Yeah. And he's gonna help you look for it. Like, where the terrorists? He's gonna help you find the terrorists.
But you are the terrorist.
Niggas, right?
And you know, the whole takeaway from that Trump-Zelensky meeting is Zelensky didn't agree to what Donald Trump wanted Ukraine to do, which when you look into it, Donald Trump said, look, all that money we gave you, you gotta pay it back. Here you are, a war-torn country. You gotta pay back all this money because it was a loan. And then, you know, you gotta give us 50% of your resources. What kind of a deal is that? Oh, water. But yeah, that you know, that's the reason Zelensky, you know, didn't agree to Donald Trump's meeting, because what? And this is Edomites doing to other Edomites. A house divided cannot stand. Look, you got to pay back all that money, and then you got to give the U.S. dibs to, you know, more half of your resources. If not, you know, he already said, look, you know, Russia already got that territory fair and square, so, you know, I can't do anything for you. My hands are tied.
Right, and if I could just add to you really quickly, the whole premise of them even going to war was based off of broken promises, because Ukraine had it to where they ended up, we was going to, you know, have the potential to join NATO. You know what I'm saying? And Putin was like, hey, look, we don't want that because that's too close to our border. So what do you have? Just even at the beginning of the deal went sour, and the end of the deal is going sour. You know, you got it.
And you know what's hypocritical about that? You know, they're saying, oh, Ukraine, they're fighting for freedom and democracy, negating the fact that they would just become a puppet of NATO on the border of Russia. Do you think America would allow Russia to set up shop in Mexico? During World War I, they had something called the Zimmerman letter, which, you know, was fabricated to where that was one of the justifications for America going to war against Germany, because some German politician named Zimmerman was sending letters to Mexico saying, look, ally with us. But that was built off false pretenses. But look at what America did when they even got a hint of that. Oh, we're going to war. Just complete hypocrisy. That's why nobody trusts you devils. And people are waking up to the fact that you're forked tongue. You know, Gad had a saying, you know, the white man speaks with a forked tongue. And then, you know, I can't remember where the saying was from. It might have been from a brother who fell out of the truth. But he said, you know, I know the white man's lying when he opens his mouth. No, how do you know when the white man's lying? When he's talking to you.
Tell you, you know, in the book of Psalms that he is born speaking lies.
That's it.
The wicked are estranged from the womb. They come straight from the nutsack.
That's it.
Lying.
I got something for you.
Con, you got it. And then brothers got precepts on that side. Con, you got you.
This is the book of Ezekiel 28. I'm gonna just skip around. This is just a lot. So I'm gonna start at verse 2. It says, "Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus," and which that prince of Tyrus can be likened unto Esau, man. It says, "Thus saith the Lord Yahawah, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a God, I sit in the seat of God, in the midst of the seat." You want to say something?
And what backs that up? That 2 Thessalonians. He shall sit in the seat of the Most High, shewing himself that he is the Most High.
Right.
And then what does it say? Sit in the seat of many waters.
Yes.
What does it say in Revelation 17? That whore that sits upon many waters, which when you go deeper down in the chapter says that many waters is many nations.
That's right. And it reads, yet thou art a man, and not God, though thou set thine heart as the heart of God. Behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee.
And with this devil, even though he's getting exposed, when you look at the depths he was willing to go to manipulate people, you just sit back and think, God damn, that was an intricate, diabolical plan.
His heart is deep.
That's what all these alphabet groups, right? The one that start with a C and end with an A, one that start with an F, start with and end with an I. That's what they all, that's their purpose. Okay, to infiltrate and get these different diabolical plans rolling.
I wish I would have put it in the chat, but somebody posted where it was somebody who was in the C to the I to the A saying U.S. aid, which Doge has been auditing, seeing where all that money's going. He said at every level of U.S. aid, we have C people in there to go to these different countries and foment unrest and color revolutions.
That's how this man gets down.
You mind if I just read it through 9, bro?
Kind of got it.
It reads verse 4, with thy wisdom and with thine understanding thou hast gotten thee riches and hast gotten gold and silver into thy treasures.
Like I say, what does it say? Through much violence, kingdom is translated from one people unto another. And how did Esau get his riches and his gold and his silver? Through his unrighteous dealings, which his wicked wisdom. Right? As you brought out with that quote, the white man came with the Bible and we had all the land, but then afterwards we had the Bible, but they had all the land, using his wicked wisdom to take people's resources. And then at the end of the day, coming out on top as he's the good guy, that I did you a favor.
Yeah, and that's beautiful. Verse 5, and I'll go into it. By thy great wisdom and by thy traffic hast thou increased thy riches, and thine heart is lifted up because of thy riches.
That backs up that Psalm 73 where it goes into the wicked. They are not in trouble as other men. Yes. They're encased in their own fat, their own wealth and riches, and their violence, they wear their violence like a chain. So even though, it's talking about the king of Tyrus, this is really symbolic for Esau being in power.
The same as Pharaoh in Egypt. It's symbolic for who? For Edom. But verse 6, it reads, therefore thus saith the Lord Yahawah, because thou hast set thine heart as the heart of God, behold, therefore will I bring strangers upon thee, the terrible of the nations, and they shall draw their swords against the beauty of thy wisdom and shall defile thy brightness.
And the brother brought it out in that Jeremiah 15:28. Those nations coming like archers and surrounding her to shoot those arrows, which we might have to go back to that Jeremiah 50 at some point. But those strange and terrible nations are these different nations that are confederating themselves against America and ultimately coming to take her.
Verse 8, they shall bring thee down to the pit, and thou shalt die the deaths of them that are slain in the midst of the seas.
They bring thee down to the pit, Isaiah 14. You shall be brought down to the pit, and the worms shall consume thee. Meaning what? Your rulership is going to be, brought to death. It'll be a corpse.
Verse 9. Wilt thou say before him that slayeth thee, I am God, but thou shalt be a man and no God in the hand of him that slayeth thee.
And those pharaohs thought they were gods, just as those Roman emperors thought they were gods. But what? When YAHAWAH, bahasham, YAHAWASHI brought them down, they were shown to be nothing more than just men that were set up by YAHAWAH, bahasham, YAHAWASHI. And there's a quote from that movie Watchmen. You have that character Dr. Manhattan, which it represents YAHAWASHI and the elect. And then you had the villain Ozymandias, who was a blonde-haired, blue-eyed Edomite, who his idol was Alexander the Great, and his whole costume was based off of ancient Egypt. And he thought he was gonna, he does win in the end, but that's Esau bullshit. But he tried to go against Dr. Manhattan, and he was defeated. And Dr. Manhattan told him, the world's smartest man poses no more threat to me than his smartest termite. And that's what you are, Esau, to Yahawah bahasham YAHAWASHI, a termite, the basest of men.
I was in the earth.
That's it. Why I said Isaiah chapter 14, is this the man?
That made nations to fear and turned nations into a wilderness.
That's it.
That was hidden in Ezekiel. I was just gonna say when Moses, first went to Pharaoh and he told him about the Lord, he said, "Who is he? Who is this? Who is this God? Showing you the pride, on this devil, man. What you got?"
Beautiful point, and there's been that thing recirculating, the prophets of doom, which you brothers did a beautiful lesson on last night. And when Trump said the prophets of doom, he said, the prophets of doom and their prognostications, and he said something like, just like the charlatans of the past and the fools whose predictions didn't come true, it's going to be the same for them. Backing up what the brother said when Pharaoh was like, who is this God? That's what these elites, and these Edomites think. But just like ancient Pharaoh was brought down and eventually came to reverence Yahawah bahasham YAHAWASHI, it's going to be no different for you, Esau. Hey, Antiochus, when he got smitten with that plague, he said, I believe in the power of the Jews now. I want to be a Jew. And he tried to, write those letters to Judas Maccabees, and they just looked at it with contempt, like you. And that's how we look at you Edomites and you elites, with contempt. Because there's nothing you can do against the power of Yahawah bahasham YAHAWASHI. Yeah, you're going to get some of us during Jacob's trouble, but what? As the seven brothers in Maccabees said, though we perish, we have eternal life. But you're going to perish and have no place of eternal life. Because you're going straight into slavery when you're taken out of power.
Wiped out.
And your cockroach milk.
If I can just add to what you were saying, and I believe it's First Maccabees, the 6th chapter with Antiochus. It talked about the Lord putting a heavy spirit on him. He like a spirit of distress and sorrow. And he looked back on all the things that he did to Jerusalem, and he couldn't speak up something. In First Maccabees, the 6th chapter, Antiochus basically says of the things that he did against Jerusalem, he couldn't believe that he did those things. You know what I'm saying? He couldn't believe that, he committed those crimes, those actions against those people. And then he just died a regular, stressed out, sorrowful death. When he was a king over, the country.
He died. He had a humiliating end. I think, he had like colon cancer or something, and it said his stink was so bad that his soldiers couldn't even come around him. And it said he who tormented other men's bowels, which that he was a Greek freak. He who tormented other men's bowels, his own bowels were tormented.
That's it.
Sick bastard.
This is to back up, what Rose was talking about, going into these modern day Egyptians, which are the Edomites. This is why all this is happening. Going back to the beginning, this is Exodus 10:1. It says, "And Yahawah said unto Moses, go unto Pharaoh, for I have hardened his heart, and the heart of his servants, that I might show my signs before him, and that thou mayest tell in the ears of thy son and of thy son's sons what things I have wrought in Egypt, and my signs which I have done among them, that you may know how that I am Yahawah." So the Lord is hardening the hearts of these Edomites. Going back to Romans 9, he's raising up Pharaoh again. He's going to bring him down so that we can tell our sons and our sons' sons forever in the kingdom. All right, these Edomites did this. The Lord delivered us from that. All right, these devils they thought they were smarter than the Most High. Our children are going to believe the stories that we're going to tell. We're going to have proof of them. We're going to be living witnesses of the end of this demonic kingdom.
That's beautiful you brought out how I was talking about Pharaoh there. Are we talking about that right now? As the Lord did to Pharaoh, and it said, we would talk about what the Lord did to Pharaoh. We're using that as an example of what the Lord's going to do to you, Esau. Everything comes full circle.
What's that second address? Smite you, plagues,
We see it at the heat of the constant rage, constant imagine a vague thing, something that's used to trying to get a position to be the next superpower, but the next superpower is coming. It's the kingdom of heaven that dwells righteous. You got
Kamar. And then Kushab, you had one. Then we'll get to this kind.
see, I hope that won't down one stuff.
We'll come back around.
As Sirach 10 verse 12, the beginning of pride is one that departed from the Most High, and his heart is turned away from his Maker. For pride is the beginning of sin. He that have it shall pour out abomination. Therefore the Lord brought them upon them strange calamities and overthrew them utterly. That's right, man. They say, who has that pride? Esau, one that's ruling. And basically, we have pride, basically have self-esteem, you boast in yourself. You know what I'm saying? Basically, you're taking all the credit for yourself.
You think you did it.
You think you did it. But no, man, it's the Lord, he gives the credit of everything, man. Everything.
also like
I was saying he gets the credit. So basically, man, basically, like it's like example. Say like you made something, and then somebody else just say, "Oh, they made it." You could be mad. So the same thing with the Lord, man. That's why he's the Lord. That's why he's the Lord. He said he bring upon these calamities upon him, man. That's why he bring all these plagues, these pestilence, because they Esau's pride. To break down his pride.
Though the pride of thy heart hath lifted up to the clefts of the rock, and though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, then shalt thou be brought down. And as the brother brought out, I think it was in Ezekiel 20, brought down to the pit, to the grave, to the lowest of the low. And what does it ultimately say of your kings and queens? That they shall be our nursing fathers and mothers and lick up the dust of our feet. Meaning that's how low you're going to be, exactly where you need to be.
He also said too, he said by them having that pride, they part of abomination. Man, they see a number of weakness on the earth, man. Like them, he just brought it earlier. They made cockroach out of milk, man. And then milk, we know milk is like the principal thing, according to Sirach, man, that everybody can use to survive, man, to live.
Milk, honey, the blood of the grape. The damn yellowtail that, brothers were drinking at the Passat because, it was a kosher wine. It ain't even wine. It's a food dye. You probably just drinking gasoline with the damn food dye. So brothers, don't drink yellowtail.
Well, I say, man, just leave the Esau, man. He'll defy everything that's living, man.
You got the microplastics, for example. Every one of us here, according to statistics, got enough microplastics in our brain to make a little spoon. The squirrels got microplastic. Everything got goddamn our seed has microplastic in it.
turtles got herpes.
What are we doing?
I'm going to say verse 14. The Lord has cast down the thrones of pride princes and set up the meek in their stead. The Lord hath plucked up the roots of pride nations and planted the lowly in their place. And the Lord overthrew countries of the heathen and destroyed them to the foundation of the earth. That's right, man. So basically, man, Lord, he coming back to cast out those Esau, man, out of his rulership. And guess who's going to be next? Us. Because they will represent that meek and lowly, man.
And when you go to that Daniel chapter 2, after those iron toes mixed with miry clay, it doesn't say anything about Russia or China. It says, then shall that great kingdom, that everlasting kingdom be set up, the kingdom of Yasharallah, the kingdom of Israel, which shall not be left unto other people, meaning we're going to be the sole sovereign rulers in it.
Wait a minute, you mean to tell me after America's destroyed, we're not going to be here another 1,000 years?
Hey, no, we're waiting for those. We're in the midst of those 1,000 years right now.
Okay, yeah.
We got to deal with McDonald's for another 1,000 years.
Yeah, and cockroach milk.
And Hellcats and cockroach milk and podcasts. Another 1,000 years of podcasts.
No, I can't take it.
Another 1,000 years of Keisha. That's what your boy's saying.
We're at the end of the so-called black woman, man. We're at the end of America. We're at the end of Esau. we're clearly at the end. So if you're not in the spirit of hastening to get out of here, you bugged out.
That's the spirit. Look at the seed of
It's
man.
true. That's the spirit right there. See, that's
That's it. Last week. Yeah, Peter, he would not be here.
You on his last leg.
That's enough. I get.
Yeah, literally.
That's beautiful.
Who eats some?
That one kind of bad.
Oh, kind. Then we got you.
Back on the point, this is Matthew 24 and 21, real letters YAHAWASHI speak. It says, for then shall be great tribulation, this is going with 1,000 years, and why we really about to get the hell out of here. Matthew 24 and 21, for then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days should be shortened.
So clearly it's saying the days shall be shortened. So what are we talking about? It could be between now and in 1,000 years. That sounds like somebody who has made a covenant with death, and they're more than happy to be here because they took the bag, which that's a whole nother topic in itself. Just backing you up, Keisha's through, Esau's through, and you false prophets are through as well. This whole wicked age is about to pass away. And, it couldn't have gone soon enough. We wish it would have happened yesterday. Last hour, we wish it would have happened.
Last year.
If I could add to you real quick too, and it's clear as day because just think about it right now. We already a quarter in the new year already. I remember just the New Year's destruction, and now we knocking down 2025 like it ain't nothing right now. Yeah, Passover.
Yeah, it's Trump only been president for about a month, and I feel like he's been president for about 2 years at this point. That's how fast he's moving, because what? The days are being shortened. YAHAWAH, bahasham, YAHAWASHI is speeding up these prophecies.
That's it.
So we can get out of here.
Yeah.
So what's it for your legacy? Because at least everybody else, they want to stay there for 1,000 years.
Yeah, they cool with it. 2/3, the heathen, all right, the women, all of these pigs, they're cool with this place. No matter how bad it gets, they complain, but they like to complain. They like to have something to complain about. Right? That's the spirit of 2/3. That's the spirit of a woman. They'll tell you something not to resolve a situation, but just to hear themselves complain. We're actually complaining because we have the solution, which is the kingdom of heaven. YAHAWASHI coming back, destroying this place and setting us up.
If I could say real quick, just with we ain't gonna stay on him too long. The 1,000-year man.
That's his name, man.
The 1,000-year man. Mr. 1,000.
Spirit have named him.
The 1,000 years man. I was thinking about this the other day. Say you got how you got that meme with the 2 red buttons, and you got the Edomite sweating. Which choice he's gonna pick? Honestly, with that statement he made, if there was a button that said, push this right now and the end shall come, or push this and you're still gonna be rich, and it's gonna be for another 1,000 years. Which one do you think he pushed with that comment?
1,000 years.
That's it.
Mr.
1,000-year man. But
Yeah.
I had a quick precept.
Yeah, I know you know.
Just backing up what you brothers are going into. This is Ezekiel 7 and verse 1. It says, moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, also thou son of man, thus saith the Lord God unto the land of Israel, and in the end is come upon the 4 corners of the land. Now is the end come upon thee, and I will send mine anger upon thee, and will judge thee according to thy ways, and will recompense thee all thine abominations. It's kind of so just backing up the brothers. The end is coming, man. To Babylon the Great. So the wicked 2/3 of our people. What I'm saying? They're gonna be destroyed right along with this place. Going down with Esau, Edom. And all his devices, everything he imagines, his technology, everything's going with him, man. You got it.
You got it. That was on.
Yes.
Because 2 Ezra 7, verse 43. But the day of doom shall be the end of this time, and the beginning of an immortality for to come, wherein corruption is past. That's right, yeah. The main point said, day of doom shall be the end of this time. The time's very right now, man.
And is that the same one that's like, those, they should not be able to save the wicked? It's like those that are.
Come, verse 44. The intemperance is at an end, infidelity cut off, righteousness is grown, and truth sprung up.
And that's exactly, which verse were you at?
44.
44. And that's exactly what we're seeing. Intemperance is at an end, infidelity is cut off, and righteousness is grown. All these wicked ways, we're starting to see the end of it. Adultery, infidelity, being a narcissist. All these people are getting worn out about it, and they're going to get judged for it. But at the same time, what righteousness is grown? You've got the elect waking up, setting up that standard again in the earth. And with that vibration being pushed out, as it says in Matthew 24, verse 14, and this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. This word has clearly been getting preached. And what are we seeing? The end come. So the word, no, you got it.
What did King Solomon say? There's a time to build and a time to destroy. The Most High is actually doing both at the same time. He's building up the kingdom of Israel, and he's destroying the kingdom of Edom at the same time.
Somebody get for me a 2 Ezra 2 and 13. What you got?
Is verse 45. Then shall no man be able to save him that is destroyed, nor to oppress him that have gotten the victory.
And Esau is straight to the point, nor to oppress him that has gotten the victory. Abarat Tazah, we're at that number, But even if we're not at that number, we're still Israelites. As that wicked nigga Tupac said, hey, at least we're still black. Hey, we're still Israelites, so eventually the entire kingdom is good. They're gonna be Gucci. And you won't be able to stop. You can't even stop these prophecies from coming to their fulfillment, Esau. So you damn sure aren't stopping the kingdom from coming to pass. And you're not able to stop or add another day to your rulership. Once you reach those bounds, you cannot pass. And you've just about hit the end of your barrier. Somebody got that? You got the second?
I got a second.
Kind of. You can read it. You can read it. 2 Ezra 2 and 13.
This is the book of 2 Ezra, chapter 2, verse 13. It says, Go, and ye shall receive. Pray for few days unto you, that they may be shortened. The kingdom is already prepared for you. Watch.
The kingdom is already prepared for you. Watch. What? It'll come to a point where he shall no longer be able to oppress him that had gotten the victory. The kingdom is already set in stone. We're just playing out the actions to get to the kingdom. But what did it say in the first part? Go and ye shall receive. Pray for a few days unto you, which what? We are hastening the day constantly. I know I wake up in the morning and do it. I know you brothers do as well. Wake up, throwing curses on Babylon, hastening its end. And as I said, pray for a few days unto you that they may be shortened. And clearly we're seeing things ramp up exponentially. So, it says somewhere in Sirach that, our prayers pierce at the clouds, and, they will not stop until they're answered. YAHAWAH, bahasham, YAHAWASHI is hearing the prayers of the saints and what the word is being hastened because of it.
Yeah. Hey, backing up that Matthew 24. Showing the time for the elect sake, man. Because the elect is crying out, man. They mourning.
Was that Luke 18?
Yeah, Luke 18, yeah.
They cried day and night.
Yeah, crying day and
Look
night.
very along with them.
You got, was it 35? Yeah. Bring it out real quick, Dr. Shah.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 35, and we start at 16. He that serveth Yahweh shall be accepted with favor, and his prayer
Start at verse 14, Baba Shah.
Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha 35, verse 14. He will not despise the supplication of the fatherless, nor the widow, when she poureth out her complaint.
And it can go into literal fatherless and literal widows, but what? We have been fatherless without our power, and what? We have been, widows, because Israel is likened unto a woman. So as I said, he will not despise the supplication of the fatherless nor the widow when she poureth out her complaint. Pray for few days unto you. Keep going on.
Do not the tears run down the widow's cheek, and is not her cry against him that causeth them to fall?
Is not her cry against him that causeth them to fall? The wicked who make widows and their fatherless a prey, and that decree those unrighteous decrees. Esau.
The devil. He that serveth Yahweh shall be accepted with favor, and his prayer shall reach unto the clouds.
And Aparat Tazah, we're at that number. Our prayers are acceptable under Yahawah bahasham Yahawashai with favor, and what they're reaching under the clouds, they're piercing the heavens. You know, those angels bring up those prayers like that sweet smelling odor, that savior unto Yahawah bahasham Yahawashai.
It says, the prayer of the humble pierceth the clouds. Until it come nigh, he will not be comforted.
Until it come nigh, he will not be comforted. You know, those that sigh, put the mark on the foreheads of those men that sigh and cry for all
the abominations that be done in the midst thereof.
Which brothers are constantly doing when they put up these epistles, when they throw up their prayers. They, you know, our complaint is constantly going up, you know, because we're not comforted. And it's going to keep going up until we are comforted.
Okay. It says, and will not depart till the Most High shall behold to judge righteously and execute judgment.
And, you know, we're seeing that Yahawah bahasham Yahawashai is speedily getting ready to execute that judgment, shortening the days for the elect's sake.
Yeah, we're sick of seeing dogs walking dogs, man. These goddamn animals. They should be on the leash, man. They should be on the leash.
Well, it would be more righteous for it to be the other way around.
Yeah. Right. That's the only thing that would make sense.
They kind of look like the dogs, too. They're like,
Same hair.
Rags. I'm rags on. Give them the work. Put them to work.
Let me read this one more. For Yahawah will not be slack, neither will the mighty be patient toward them, till he have smitten and sundered the loins of the unmerciful, and repaid vengeance to the heathen, till he have taken away the multitude of the proud, and broken the scepter of the unrighteous.
The Lord will not be slack until he fulfill all these things.
Yeah.
And that's what we've been going into. Esau being exposed, and that judgment hastily coming down upon his hairy head. But who better?
I got something to back that up what he was just saying.
You got them.
Okay. Luke chapter 18 and verse 7 says, and shall not the Almighty avenge his own elect, which cry day and night unto him, though he bear along with them. So one thing about, we already know about the prayer, you know, he's saying piercing in the clouds, so you constantly sighing and crying, you know, left and right, you know, making these video pistols. You know, how we in Bible, we constantly, you know, telling the Lord, go ahead and bring our salvation, Lord, you know, get us out of this nightmare, you know what I'm saying? That's what we constantly long for. The Lord right now, it's not prolonging anymore, you know. We see that these prophets are constantly speeding up, you know what I'm saying? So the Lord, you know, he controls what time? He created time. So he can slow it down, he can speed it up, you know, pretty much do what he want to do. So right now, he burned along with us, but he's getting ready to execute judgment.
Hey, the Lord knows when Esau has his end, because he set it up.
That's it.
And he said, what? Once I get to that part of the story, I'm going to speed it up.
That's it, I'm telling you. Verse 8, he said, I tell you that he will avenge them speedily. Nevertheless, when the Son of Man cometh, shall he find faith on the earth? Yes, indeed. You know what I'm saying? The elect, the true believers of Yahawah bahasham Yahawashai. We right here, right now. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, man.
But that little remnant, there you go. Saved under the Lord.
There you go.
That little candlestick, you know, that light upon the hill.
Get very excited.
What you got, Doc?
This the book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 6, and verse 13. It reads, for it is a token of his great goodness when wicked doers are not suffered any long time, but forthwith punished. Right? And that's exactly what all the precepts and points brothers been making. Right? It's a token unto us that these devils don't get the reign for another 1,000 years. You know, it's actually, you know, when we praying for that, this should speed up. Yeah, it's hard, but hey. The end, what it say? Better is the end of a thing than the beginning. You see? And that's the spirit we in, man. If it's gonna come, let it come. Really. however you want it, you know, you got the tempo, man.
Hey, we have our identity. We know who we are again. Right. And we see Esau as having his expected end. You know, we ain't back in the 90s, you know, which a lot of Jakes enjoy being in the 90s. We ain't back in the 1950s. God, we ain't back in the 1800s. At one point in a past reincarnation, we were in the 1800s in the depths of slavery.
Yeah.
But now here we are, you know, coming into the heights of the kingdom. And Esau's about to go into the depths of his slavery.
And actually praying for these times right here that we're in, that we were reading, that was, you know, that the Lord said he would speed up the time.
it.
You know,
We are hastening it, you know. And one thing about it, we know who we are. We know who our true power is. And also we know what time that we're living in. You know, that's why he said, what did that Baruch said, we will remember ourselves and let our captain. So he said, hey, yeah, we here, man. You got it.
On the back, like what you said, it's St. Matthew 13. I'm gonna start at 16. It says, "But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. For verily I say unto you, that many prophets and righteous men have desired to see those things which ye see, and have not seen them, and to hear those things which ye hear, and have not heard them."
right.
Yeah, so we actually, like the brother was saying, we look forward to this time. We prayed for it. Our forefathers prayed for it. Now here we are.
What did it tell you in Acts? And the
Just about to say,
yeah,
got
the apostles was like, Lord, is it time?
It's now the time.
So you know, hey, if the spirits and if the spirits of the prophets are subject to the prophets, in each of our past reincarnations, we were saying the same shit.
Same
Like,
thing.
man, is it time? You know?
Yeah, Esdras, he was inquiring.
Yes.
Job,
Yeah.
Daniel,
What shall be the time?
what shall be the time? Like, how do we getting out of here?
And, you know, I don't want to.
What's the parting of Sunday? Like, what do you?
Yeah.
I don't even want to use this word because, you know, it's wicked, but it's like Christmas up in the third heaven right now. YAHAWASHI, he's waiting to get his presents. He's waiting to wake up in the morning and come get his jewels, come get the elect. And it's right there, like, because you know it's a couple of days, it's been a couple of days up there, so it's fresh in their memory. And they see the signs coming, YAHAWASHI sees the signs coming, you just wait for the Heavenly Father to
Get that word.
That's
And
it.
Scripture says it's gonna leap off the throne.
That's it.
The time. And if I can say, if we, you know, the scriptures liken us into jewels, right? Precious things into the Lord. When you go to an actual jeweler, you have to get the idea down pat, and you know, shipments have to come in. It's not a oh, I just come here and give my money. No, you have to wait. You actually have to wait for them to, you know, craft with your jewels, man. You know, your chain, ring, whatever it may be. So in a sense, it's the same way, man. Right? Those jewels got to be polished, refined, and that's how the things worked in the ancient world, man. You know, you hey, I want amethyst, just like with this brother. You know, hey, when he calls, say, hey, it's almost ready. I'm pumped up. I'm like,
That's it.
you know, you got it.
Like I say, the Lord, he getting ready to come get his bride. Wait. No, he go.
This is Sirach 36 and verse 7. It says, "Raise up indignation and pour out wrath, take away the adversary and destroy the enemy." Going into, you know, Esau, Edom, and the other nations. Verse 8, it says, "Make the time short, remember the covenant, and let them declare thy wonderful works." Right, so like the brothers are going into, man, you know, all the brothers, you know, in times past has inquired about the end times. You know, when is it coming? When are we going to get out of here? You know, we'll go to verse 9. It says, "Let him that escapeth, he be consumed by the rage of the fire, and let them perish that oppress the people. Smite and sunder the heads of the rulers of the heathen that say there is none other but we." Right? So, hey, look, you know, that's what we're waiting for YAHAWASHI's return, so that he can put us in rulership and take down the other nations, man. You know, that's what we got looking forward to us, immortality, you know.
And that end part back up that Ezekiel the brother brought out, it said there's none other, the heathens that say there's none other than we. Him that, a man that acts as if he is a god. You know, that goes back to Antiochus 2. It says something along the lines of him who saw himself as a god who would move nations and curse the waters as if they would obey his will, you know, got judged and, you know, died a pitiful death. Just as you elites, you Edomites in your rulership is going to die a pitiful death. And you're going out very, very pitifully. Look at who your savior is. Goddamn Donald Trump.
Orange reality star TV host. That's the hope for the two-way. That's the hope for the so-called white man.
A media personality.
Yeah.
I told you the troops, a couple of troops that I used to know referred to Trump as Lord Emperor Trump.
They in that spirit, you know. It's fitting that they feel that way.
Hey, hey, it is good they're going out with Trump because he's a perfect example. What a proud charlatan, a proud phony, which is what Esau is. A proud phony giving up this image that I'm just this great guy. But at the end of the day, you know, you're a phony, wear a fake tan, you have to wear a toupee, you're just an asshole.
King of Babylon.
Total weirdo. Kissing Rudy Giuliani when he's dressed up like Marilyn Monroe. A sodomite at that.
Nero reincarnated.
And Nero, you know, they say he liked to, you know, get freaky,
Yeah.
get swifty.
Wow.
Fondler.
A mother.
This
Hey, he was on Epstein's Island.
They all are.
He was on the Lolita Express. You know, it was tremendous. Jeffrey was a good guy. Swell guy. They're very young.
Oh, man.
We're gonna release the list.
real quick. This book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 6, and yeah, I just go 57. It reads, "And now, O Lord, behold, these heathen which have ever been reputed as nothing have begun to lord over us and to devour us. But we, thy people, whom thou hast called thy firstborn, thy only begotten, and thy fervent lovers, are given into their hands." And this is the point. "If the world be now made for our sakes, why do we not possess an inheritance with the world? How long shall this endure?" So even in that time, man, he had heathens that were reputed as nothing ruling over us, man.
Medial Persians.
Kind of.
Those damn coolies.
You know, and we coming in that same spirit, man. How long shall this endure, man?
Them curry smelling, you know, straw sandal wearing, not styling, not profiling, Matt Brown weirdos.
That tan eyes too, bro.
They got shit water in their eyes.
With their goat hair.
They go there. What can I do for you? We are brothers. Ooh, monkey brains. Brothers that sing Indiana Jones. But hey, you know, this was our punishment for us going off from the Heavenly Father to be under these heathens. And you know, I think at this point, we more than learned at least the hopeful elect have more than learned their lesson. That we got the basest of men over us with cockroach milk. So we got it. We got it. YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI. Please hasten and shorten these days so we can get out of here. We're sorry. Very sorry.
Exactly.
If I could say the severity of our punishment, right, is justified, but it's also well needed, because one thing I know growing up, when I got punished severely for something, serious, I never did it again. So, if scriptures tell you that we'll never go into captivity ever again, and that's because we're going to remember the severity of this punishment, man. Like, there is no other punishment besides death that we could have, endured to have us coming back into our heritage, right, and returning to YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI, like how we are now in these end times. So it's beautiful, man.
Like I say, the Lord took away our identity for hundreds of years and had us thinking, we came out of the jungles of Africa with blow darts, and that our history, our bones in our noses, and our history began after slavery and with Rosa Parks and Martin Lucifer Queen. What kind of history in fried chicken?
Harriet Tubman. 2 women. That's where our nation begins. Two heroic women. Like, come on, man.
And as Apostle Ricard said, because during Trump's first presidency, they were talking about putting Harriet Tubman on the $20 bill. It's like, I don't want that crusty bitch. Give me the white man.
You can't forget also going back to the motherland.
Yeah.
Oh,
Jake
the
in the mindset, I gotta get back to Africa.
Gotta get back. Not the fatherland, motherland.
Jake wearing red, black, and green and shit.
Yeah.
Hollow fist on the shirt and shit.
With some dried out dreadlocks. With spiders in them.
With their feet showing.
With some rusty toenails.
Pro blackness is a joke. That was a stronghold that was put on our people. It's beautiful to come into the truth and realize we're a nation of kings and priests, not black, not African. We're the royalty of the earth.
Reading for real.
Yeah.
In our.
Oh, no, you got it.
I'm just saying, like, not just something that Jake is thinking in their mind. No, we actually are a regal people. Like, for those who don't know what regal means, is royalty, man.
Loyalty,
The bell is tolling on that one. And pro-black, Pan-Africanist, Rastafarian, that's synonymous with being musty. That's all musty.
Bad hygiene.
Bad hygiene, bad spiritual hygiene. They ain't spiritually clean, man. You worshiping Haile Selassie, a damn heathen that got buried under a toilet. That's your king? Literally buried. Yeah, he's buried under, you can look that up. He's buried under the toilet. But that's what Jake looks at, man.
Haile Selassie.
You remember that nigga that came on the bus?
With the white tires. With the white tires.
Cursed the man bike.
That bike, he didn't have that bike.
Bike under curse.
Good.
I got a quick one to back.
I think.
Oh, no, I wanted to say too, one day we learning of being this captivity, or how not to rule.
Yes, yes, brother.
We definitely, this is the worst.
Everything not to do.
Don't do that.
Esau is a perfect example of how not to govern a society.
Just real quick, this is the book of 1 Peter 2:9. It says, "But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, and holy nation, a peculiar people, that ye should show forth the praises of him who had called you out of the darkness," which we was going into this marvelous light. We back into the remembrance of the thing. We're fervent. We're itching for the kingdom. All right. And once upon a time, again, we was thinking that this was the end all be all. That it just make money, die, and just pass it along to your children, and that's it. I go to the white clouds or down in the red fiery place. You know what I'm saying? But the Lord brought us into this, back into our remembrance, into this light, and now it's time to get busy and finish this thing off.
That's in the Old Testament, right?
God.
No.
No. Yeah, it's the New Testament. I'm sure. Yes.
Yeah, that's 1 Peter.
Yeah, 1 Peter. Come on.
The same people.
Yeah.
And then you can definitely 4, start at 24. Kind of write it down. And way down to 28. But you got that. Oh, you had something on?
I'm just going to read it in another
Kind
translation.
of.
It's 1 Peter 2:9. It's the ASV. It says, "But ye are an elect race, a royal priesthood."
An elect race.
An elect race.
A race. A superior race.
Superior race. A royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people for the Most High's own possession, that you may show forth the excellencies of him who called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. Yeah, chosen race of people, man. That's in the New Testament. That's Apostle Peter, the head of the church. What are these people talking about, man? It don't matter who's the Israelites. What? We're a chosen race. What are you talking about?
This is in the New Testament. And then the Apostle Paul, that Romans chapter 9, you can't get around that Romans chapter 9.
Yeah,
It's undefeated.
Vocab been having nightmares about Romans 9 for about 10 years.
He's having nightmares as we speak. I remember with Captain Tazariak, even though he wicked, he was cutting up vocab so bad on one of their live streams that vocab struck his page and he had the video on to take it down. And then vocab asked him, "So you think it's okay to decapitate your slaves in the kingdom?" And Captain Tazariak was like, "Yeah." Why would vocab ask that? Because he knows he's an Edomite and he knows he's going to go into slavery. And thou has said, so that's going to be one of your many fates in the kingdom.
That's right.
Oh, this stuff.
Bitch.
Let me start at 29.
Con 29.
This is Baruch chapter 2 and verse 29, and it reads, if ye will not hear my voice, surely this very great multitude shall be turned into a small number among the nations, where I will scatter them.
And that's what happened to us. You know, we were rebellious to the Heavenly Father. The man can't even ride a bike right. Like, that's how wicked Esau is. He don't even have a specialty bike. It's a regular bike, but he's got his foot on the handlebar and standing up on it. Like, you do everything ass backwards.
This verse 30.
But again, you know, read Deuteronomy 28. You know, we went off from our power, and what? We were scattered amongst the nations, and you know, we found no rest.
Verse 30. For I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people, but in the land of their captivities they shall remember themselves.
And you know, that's a quick cut to those gutter rats, because they said we've always known who we were, even in our captivities. But all throughout the scriptures it says we would lose our identity and what? Come back to our identity. Straight to the point. And you're seeing that right now. As it says in Hosea 1, in the land where it was said, thou art not my people, there shall ye be called the children of the Most High. And you know, they still say black, African American, you know, niggers, spick, all that. But what? YAHAWAH, bahasham, YAHAWASHI has raised up those dry bones in the valley of the shadow of death. Put the flesh in the sinew and put that spiritual breath back in us. To where we're standing, what is that exceeding great army in the land of our captivities, standing in the face of our enemies boldly.
Right.
Hence why they're afraid out here. You know, earlier you had an Edomite get out, but you might have been Jake, just by the way he kind of, his countenance. He got out of his car with his children to go use the bathroom, but I saw him do this to his kid, like.
He had some respect.
He actually stood a little bit at a distance. He could have went in there and
He stopped so he could hear us.
yeah, he just wanted to hear us.
But yeah, you know, it's not becoming, this truth is not becoming a laughing matter anymore.
Right.
As these prophecies are coming to their fulfillment and these days are hastening to their end, you know, you got a few jokers out here, a few gimps out here who will still make a comment here and there, but you know, it's getting hella quiet. Just as the sun is setting on you people's wickedness.
Right. Verse 31, and it reads, and shall know that I am the Lord, their power, for I will give them an heart and ears to hear.
Those spiritual eyes and ears being opened, which you can read about, I think it's in Isaiah 29, it says that their ears and eyes have been opened, you know, the poor, you know, pretty much been given, you know, the answer to all their questions through the truth.
Verse 32, and they shall praise me.
Put a stick in his spokes.
Verse 32, and they shall praise me in the land of their captivity, and think upon my name.
Wait, they shall do what?
Praise me in the land of their captivity, and think upon my name.
I don't see us in Israel right now. I see us in Babylon, and what? And they shall think upon my name and praise my name. Again, the name. So it's getting to the point where, you know, you really need to be questioning yourself if you're following these other, you know, teachers out here that don't put emphasis on the name. Because as it says in Acts, you know, speaking of Yahawashi's name, there's no other name under heaven where, you know, you shall be saved. Showing the importance of the name. The name is the cheat code. The name is the activation.
The name is the only reason the Lord's saving us. He put his name on us. He guaranteed, he gave us a promise that he swore by himself. We're not being saved because we're these great people that have fringes on our t-shirts. Right? Jake got salvation all wrong, man. It's all about the name YAHAWAH, bahasham, YAHAWASHI.
He swore by his name because he could swear about nothing great.
You put respect on his name. And then you got Jake out here, like, I can't remember which brother, I think it was Yashwan was saying, he might have been just making a joke, but I could see IUIC doing that. You know, you got IUIC members, you know, cursing out their women because they're giving the poor mixed fabric clothing. That's as far as your mind goes.
That's ridiculous, bro. Yeah. And then, no, go ahead. If I could say too, because they often preach the law, the law, the law. And then you had Apostle Hall. He went into this week. You know, you preached the law, the law, the law. Oh, where's your fringes? Where's your fringes? The apostle said, well, where's your phylacteries? Where's your sword? Where's your paddle? If you preaching the law, the law, the law. But you know, that's not what this is about. It's about the grace of YAHAWASHI, you know, and that the Lord is getting ready to magnify his name again, man.
If it's all about the law, why aren't you deleting Moses out here?
Exactly.
Adulterous women, burning witches.
Like in IUIC with the fringe pick taker. You had to move the fringes to, you know, take that D pick. They should have both been stoned on the spot, but you know, they're cast out of the congregation doing what they do.
Why don't y'all go to Jerusalem 3 times a year since you're all about the law? You got all these planes. Go to Jerusalem 3 times a year, man.
The PJs and helicopters and shit.
The soul plane, the literal soul plane.
Root plane.
Root plane.
Say it ain't so.
Hey, Hebrew 1. It's that Air Force 1.
But Jake would do that. Jake wants to stay here and build an Esau's kingdom. That's what Jake want to do.
Yeah. Real quick, I'm gonna keep going in there too, but I had got this word, think, in the online etymology. When you go down to this think, back in that, I'm gonna read it again, just so you can know what I'm saying. This back in Baruch 2:32, and it reads, "And they shall praise me in the land of their captivity, and think upon my name." Right, in that word think, the second definition, it goes on to say to conceive in the mind, to consider, to meditate. It says to remember. You see? So that's going back into that pure language, man. So all these other names that these different camps or different nations call the Lord, that's not the true name, man. Right? We had to get the true name in our captivity, man. You know? You got it.
I got a point because I got a quick precept because it goes directly into what you're saying. Yep, that word think being remembered, because only the elect are going to be the ones that think upon the name, remember the name, in which how we get the salvation, calling on the names. It's Sirach 17:10. It says, "And the elect shall praise his holy name. And besides this, he gave them knowledge and the law of life for inheritance." You know, but the point was the elect are going to be the ones that think upon his name, you know? Oh, kind of, yeah.
If I can say, it also goes into desire, to meditate. Yep. And the elect are the only people on the face of the planet Earth that are desiring the actual name of the Lord. Going back to that Acts, what is that, 4:12, I believe, where it said, whereby
no other name under
no other name, yeah. We're the only ones that are seeking to be, saved, man. You know, desiring to be saved.
You got the captive exile hastening to be loose.
That's right, man.
And going back to that Ezekiel 9:4, you know, the men that sign and crime, the abominations that be done there, and to get that dawab, that mark of exemption on their forehead.
That's right.
I want to back up for
Con, you got it.
Just real quick, this is Malachi chapter 3, verse 16. "Then they that feared Yahweh spake often one to another, and Yahweh hearkened and heard it. And a book of remembrance was written before him for them that feared Yahweh and thought upon his name." Yeah. So the people that wrote the Bible, the people that believe in the Bible, all right, we all think on the name Yahweh, bahasham, YAHAWASHI. Everybody else, they were born in vain, like it tells you in Ezra.
Second Ezra's, what is that, 9
At the multitude of parents that are
Born in vain.
born in vain.
He says, and you mentioned this earlier, this is the next verse. "And they shall be mine, saith Yahweh, the Lord of hosts, in that day when I make up my jewels, and I will spare them as a man spareth his own son that serveth him." So the Lord refers to the people that think upon his name as his jewelry. And he's sparing us right now. He's making us up, he's putting us on, he's polishing us, getting us ready. You know, that's what's going on.
That gold being tried in the fire, that refining process. We had that spiritual dross on us. You know, the metal was rough looking, it wasn't polished, dingy. Now you had to dig underneath the dirt to get it. They like digging it out of the grave.
Yeah.
digging it out of the grave and then putting it through that fire. These trials and tribulations we go through to what refine us so that we're polished and those jewels that the Lord sees his reflection in.
Yeah, that's a beautiful point. When you dig anything out of the grave, it's gonna be dirty.
Yeah.
You don't just dig in the ground and then just put it on. You gotta polish it up, man.
That's heavy.
Yeah,
That's heavy.
that's crazy.
You had some more in there? What kind you got?
That's Acts 4, verse 12. Neither is there salvation in any other, but there is none other name under the sun given among men whereby we must be saved.
So with all these precepts brothers have been bringing out, if it's saying there's no other name, that means we got to know what the name is. How are we going to be calling? We calling Hashem? The name of the Heavenly Father is Yahawah, and the name of his Son, YAHAWASHI. And as simple as that.
OG was cross.
Jesus Christ. Hey, but what has Jesus Christ ever did for anybody though?
Not a God.
Especially these people, bro.
He did the most to go against them.
Yeah.
More Jakes have been slain in the name of Jesus than any other name in the history of man.
That was the first slave ship, the good ship Jesus.
Yeah.
That's who y'all niggas want to worship.
Earth pig.
Jesus was cross.
Christ. Most High Christ.
Kind of.
I got some too.
You got it. Sure.
It's Zephaniah 3 and 9. And it reads, "For then will I turn to the people a pure language, that they may call upon the name of the Lord to serve him with one consent." So not only did the Lord give us back the Shalawam Kodash, right? But he gave it to us to do what? To call on his name. Right? People hear us saluting and speaking of the Shalawam Kodash, like, damn, what they speaking? Nah, that's actually, our ancient tongue, man. And it was given unto us to meditate on the name YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI,
Because if I can say too, because that's an actual power to calling on those names. That's us being connected to the source.
Yep.
You see, when you call on the name of Yahweh Shai, you pray, all right, and the Lord, he blesses us, the things that we ask for, and ultimately the things that we pray for, our prayers are being heard through what? Through those names, man.
It tell you that in the prologue to Sirach, right?
Yep. This Acts 26, just to hone the point, because one would say, the Lord spoke, he didn't speak Hebrew, he didn't have a Hebrew name. Well, when you go back into these times, all of the Israelites spoke Hebrew, man. Right? You had some that spoke Greek, some that spoke Latin, but majority of the Israelites spoke Hebrew, all right, including Yahawashi. All right.
When Yahawashi came to Paul in the spirit.
That's what I'm about. Yes.
You got me.
God. This Acts 26, and I'll start at 14. Acts 28. I'll start at 12. It says, "Whereupon as I went to Damascus with authority and commission from the chief priests, at midday, O king, I saw in the way a light from heaven above the brightness of the sun, shining round about me, which them was journeyed with me."
It says he went with authority?
He went with authority.
I thought Apostle Paul was just some guy,
who was in authority. His writings are authoritative.
writings on his
Like the 1,000-year man.
The 1,000-year man. It says, verse 14, "And when we were all fallen to the earth, I heard a voice speaking unto me, saying in the Hebrew tongue, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? It is hard for thee to kick against the pricks. And I said, Who art thou, Lord? And he said, I am Yahawashi, whom thou persecutest."
Oh, straight to the point. When Yahawashi came to Saul, who later became Paul, he spoke to him in the Hebrew, showing, the Lord has a name, and that true name is in the Paleo Hebrew.
That's right.
It's not these names that are transliterated in the Jesus, Jesus, Earth Pig, Yeshua, Yahweh, Hare Krishna, Zordon. None of these characters.
if I can say it real quick, how you gonna have be connected to the higher power? You know how Jake B. You know,
Yeah.
you calling on the name Jesus. This name wasn't even, it was invented around the 1500s, man. Before Jesus, it was Isus. So which one is it? You know?
Yeah, how it would be Hebrew Israelites with English tongue? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, have our Lord and English name.
Yeah, that pure language.
Yeah,
though.
pure language, man. Or how the Lord will speak Hebrew with English tongue?
Come on, man.
Barbasol.
That word pure, it goes into not being tainted, man, right? Or diluted. Okay, all of these other languages have been diluted or tainted, right? With through the test of time, except for the Hebrew, man. The Lashiwan Kodash, right? The Paleo Hebrew, like the verse says.
It's the
The holy tongue.
The holy tongue.
It's
The separate tongue.
It's original, man.
We're gonna get last what's got left. What you
This the prologue to Ecclesiasticus Sirach, right? When you go down, it reads, "For the same things uttered in Hebrew and translated into another tongue have not the same force in them."
read up. You gotta read up where it says, "Wherefore let me entreat."
Let me see it. Oh, I see it. It says, "Wherefore let me entreat you to read it with favor and attention, and to pardon us, wherein we may seem to come short of some words which we have labored to interpret. For the same things uttered in Hebrew and translated into another language have not the same force in them. And not only these things, but the law itself and the prophets and the rest of the books have no small difference when they are spoken in their own language."
And straight to the point, the Paleo Hebrew, which I can work on getting better in. But the force of it, it translated into any other tongue cannot compare. So what? The Lord's true name in the Paleo Hebrew, Yahawah, is that power that cannot compare and cannot be translated into any other tongue.
If I could add, what happened in the ancient times when the Israelites were coming out of Egypt through the Exodus, and when the Lord was destroying cities during the time of Joshua?
Mm-hmm.
What they say? We've heard of your power. We've heard of His name.
Rahab the harlot. We heard what the power of the Hebrews did to the Egyptians.
Yes. That's it. The name ring bells.
And that name is gonna ring a lot of bells very soon. He's gonna show you why the heathens in the past knew him as that great Elishadya, the great demon-like power. But you brothers got
I got one more right here. Name of the Lord. Proverbs chapter 18 and verse 10. It said, "The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous runneth into it and is safe."
You got it.
So, that's the secret place of YAHAWASHI. So, we safe. But we know the name of the Lord, constantly exalting and magnifying His name. And also, that wisdom and that knowledge, so sustains in time of trouble. Jacob's trouble, our temptation, MOTV, when the devil comes down with great wrath, the Lord, we're going to be in that secret pavilion. The Lord, He's going to be with us. His name carries weight. YAHAWAH, bahasham, YAHAWASHI. You got it?
The name is a strong tower.
It's a strong tower. That's it.
But it says the righteous run through.
That's right. The
Not
elect.
everybody.
Yeah.
Not all the Israel.
That's it. The true believers. You got it?
Comes Romans 9 verse 17. For the scripture said to Pharaoh, even for this same purpose have I raised thee up, that I might show my power in thee, that my name might be declared throughout all the earth.
straight to the point, as the brother Kushab, beautifully brought out, the brother Kabar brought out in Romans chapter 9. Yahawah, when he brings that judgment that exalts his name, Deuteronomy, it says in Deuteronomy 32, I am, and there's none else beside me. Straight to the point.
The Most High.
And the name Jesus is synonymous with building Babylon, spreading democracy, spreading Esau's kingdom. So the name Yahawah, bahasham, YAHAWASHI is synonymous with destroying.
Name Jesus is synonymous with love and Diddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically, name gonna ring bells, man.
That's it.
I'm saying everybody gonna put the spectrum on one thing with
That
that.
horn, that horn's getting blown out. That train is indicating that he's about to pass, man.
Right.
You know?
Con.
Right.
Hey, so, brother, that's something you want to say? And so with that, we hope this was an edifying camp. And hey, just keep holding strong. We're coming into the Pesach in the next couple of weeks. And we pray that this is the last Pesach. Just as the first Pesach was before our forefathers got out of Egypt. And we pray that this one is the last so that we get out of the spiritual Egypt. So before we get out of here, again, as always, we're going to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors
To YAHAWAH, bahasham, YAHAWASHI, bahasham.
Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. And peace and salutations to you sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. Abad babal.
Abad babal.
Abad babal.
Abad babal.
Abad babal.
Abad babal.
Kwam Yasharala.
Kwam Yasharala.
Shalawam.
Shalawam.